Welcome. So if you're running a business, you know that technology can be your absolute best friend or your biggest enemy. And a lot of that comes down to one key decision: how you handle your IT support. Do you need someone right there in the office, or can you get everything done remotely? Today, we're going to figure out the perfect mix for your business.
Let me ask you this. Does this scenario sound familiar? The printer is jammed, a key piece of software is frozen, and your team is just stuck. They're losing precious time, they're losing momentum. You know, these little IT hiccups that keep happening, they don't just slow down your work, they kill morale. So the real question is, are you just plugging leaks, or are you actually building a tech strategy that pushes your business forward?
And that brings us to this idea, this mindset shift, which I think is just fantastic. The whole goal isn't just to scramble and react when IT problems pop up. It's about getting ahead of them, being proactive. It's about creating a system that turns those constant annoying pains into smooth, repeatable wins for your whole team.
So, Section 1, the recurring IT problem. Let's dig into how we can break that frustrating cycle.
Okay, Section 2, on-site versus remote support. Let's get a really clear understanding of these two different approaches.
All right, first up, you've got on-site support. This is the classic model, the one we all kind of picture, right? A technician physically comes to your office, they're right there, hands-on, ready to fix hardware, install a new server, or untangle a really complex network issue. Think of it like a doctor making a house call, but for your company's tech.
And then, on the other side of the coin, you've got remote support. In this case, an expert securely logs into your computers right over the internet. They can zap software glitches, push out updates, and walk your employees through problems, all without ever setting foot in your building. For a huge number of everyday issues, it's incredibly fast and super efficient.
Which leads us to Section 3, the 4 key factors. So, how do you actually decide? Well, it really all boils down to these key decision points we're about to walk through.
Let's start with the big one, shall we? Money. On-site support is almost always going to be more expensive on an hourly basis. And that makes sense, right? You're paying for a specialist's travel time, their fuel, plus their hands-on expertise. Remote support just cuts all of that out, which usually means lower costs and, frankly, a much more efficient way to spend your budget.
And to make that really concrete, on-site IT support can easily cost you somewhere between $100 and $200 an hour. For a small or medium-sized business, you know as well as I do, those hours add up incredibly fast. It makes your budget really hard to predict and manage.
Now, when we start talking about speed, the answer gets a little more nuanced. If a server physically goes down, smoke coming out of it, you absolutely need someone on site. And it's going to take time for them to get there. But for a software crash, a remote tech can be logged in and working on the fix literally within minutes. So which one is faster really depends on what's broken.
And this really gets to the heart of it. You can't remotely replace a busted hard drive. You can't remotely run network cables through a new office. That stuff requires hands-on work, period. But for the vast majority of day-to-day issues, software updates, user permissions, weird email glitches, remote support isn't just an option, it's often the smartest and most efficient choice.
Security is, of course, a huge concern, but the risks are just different. With someone on site, you have that direct physical oversight. You can watch what they're doing. With remote access, you're putting your trust in powerful encryption and really solid cybersecurity protocols. So neither one is automatically less secure, but they definitely require different kinds of safeguards to protect your valuable data.
Okay, moving on to Section 4, finding your perfect mix. Because it's not about choosing one and ditching the other. It's about building a practical framework to find that perfect blend for your business.
So to do this, we're going to use 2 really simple tools. First, a decision matrix to help you weigh the options, and second, a 5-point checklist to create your own personalized strategy. This is going to take us from just talking about it to making a real concrete plan.
So look at this matrix as your guide. If you're dealing with a critical hardware failure in a big physical office, yeah, the scale tips heavily toward on-site. But if your team is spread out, maybe working hybrid, and your problems are mostly software-related, remote support is the obvious, more cost-effective choice. Just ask yourself, right now, where does my business fit on this chart?
Okay, now let's go even deeper with this 5-point checklist. First, take stock of the tech you already have. Second, be realistic and define your budget. But honestly, the most important thing on this list is to look ahead. Where's your business going to be in a year? In 2 years? Answering that scalability question is absolutely key to making a choice that you're not going to regret down the road.
All right, our final section, Section 5, your strategic next steps. You've done the analysis. Now it's time to actually put your plan into action.
Here it is, your 5-step roadmap to a super smooth transition. Start by pinpointing your biggest IT headaches. What is causing the most frustration right now? Then, find a provider that specializes in fixing exactly those kinds of problems. Maybe you start small with a pilot program to test them out. And finally, make sure your team is trained and ready for the change. This approach just minimizes the chaos and maximizes the results.
Because at the end of the day, this is the whole point, isn't it? Getting your IT strategy right isn't just about fixing broken things. It's about completely transforming your technology from something that's a constant pain into a powerful asset that is actively helping your business grow.
So I'm going to leave you with this question to think about. Based on your costs, your specific needs, and your big vision for the future, what is the perfect IT support mix that will not just solve today's problems, but will actually fuel your growth for tomorrow?